Welcome, everybody, to a Monday night edition of the Glen Kuiper Show. It is an off day for the San Francisco Giants. It is not an off day here on the show, as we wanted to kick some stuff around. We got a great guest coming up, former Giant pitcher that you're going to enjoy. We've had him on before. One of the game's good guys, so we're looking forward to that. We'll talk about the start of the season. We'll talk about what it's like to be a reliever in the big leagues and kind of what's going on with the Giants bullpen right now. This guy knows all about that. Talk about the ABS system, what he thinks about that, and some other things as well. So it'll be a fun show here on a Monday night. Before we get started, I want to let you know the Glen Kuiper Show is brought to you by Tilden Properties. By investing in California's multifamily real estate with Tilden Properties, you'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the California real estate market. Bay Area-based and family-owned, Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. If you want to become an investor with Tilden Properties, it'd probably be a pretty good idea. They do great work. Give them a call at 925-209-8558 or go to their website at tildenproperties.com. We are also brought to you in part by Carrig Real Estate. The Carrig Real Estate team is family-owned and been serving clients in Danville, Alamo, San Ramon, all of the East Bay, all around the Bay Area for nearly 50 years. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, connect with Mike Carrig at mike@carrigteam.com. That's KEHRIG for trusted local guidance from a team that truly knows the East Bay and the entire Bay Area. Visit carrigteam.com or call them at 925-548-4132. We're also brought to you by the new Original Joe's in Walnut Creek, the biggest place to be right now. It is the hot spot in the East Bay. Original Joe's. We know how long Original Joe's has dominated in San Francisco and really in the Bay Area, but now they have moved to the East Bay, and they are doing it right, man. It is the popular place to be. Wonderful Italian-American food. The atmosphere is terrific. Awesome dining room. The service is great. And so check it out if you're in the area, or if you just feel like maybe after a Giants game, you're heading home, check it out. Stop into the new Original Joe's in Walnut Creek, right near Broadway Plaza. We're also brought to you by Partners Capital LLC. For partners for a stronger financial future, you can call them at 1-888-702-7743. And we're brought to you by Area Rug Cleaning Direct. Call Area Rug Cleaning Direct at 925-933-9999 for all your area rug needs. All right, that's our sponsors. Love to thank them as always. And now let's get our guest in here because we're dying to talk to him, as we always are. It's the former Giant left-hander Jeremy Affeldt, who joins us from down in the great state of Texas. Big lefty. How are you, man?
That's great. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Right now, we've been getting pounded by rain for the last 48 hours. I've never seen so much rain in a long time. So I'm just stuck inside, but it's a good time.
We're getting in here, too. Yeah, we're getting in here, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of deal. How about this? 14 years as a big leaguer, 7 with the Giants, 3 World Series rings. Everybody knows the goods on Jeremy Affeldt, but you're busy now. How's the brewery doing? I know you're the owner of a brewery. You just said you got swamped tonight and you had to take a little time off. So but tell us about the brewery.
I'm actually in my podcast room at the brewery right now because we had a big party here. Because the rain – we're not usually busy on Mondays anyway, and the rain killed it. But a financial firm decided to come in and throw their team party here. So my wife, being my wife, decided to shut the whole place down for them. So she kicked everybody out and said, "We got a special group. Everybody leave." And we brought them in, and they had a pretty good party here. So we kind of hung out with them. And I figured I'd just jump in the podcast room and do it from here. So it's awesome.
I appreciate it. You know, and I thanked you at the time, and I want to thank you again because I thought it was super cool what you did. When I got hired by the Giants to do some radio games this year, a lot of people texted me, said congratulations, which was awesome. But you and your wife, Candace, you didn't you sent a video of you guys toasting with, I believe, was champagne, toasting me. And I thought that was super cool. Right. And you know what? It was yeah, you know what? That meant a lot. I mean, you and I have been friends, not for a super long time, but you took the time to not just send a text, but to give a full-hearted congratulations, and you did it with a toast, which I thought was very cool. And
that's right.
I wanted to thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm fired up for you, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. I'm heading out on the next road trip, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, yeah. So you were in spring training for a couple of weeks with the team, and you're around, you're working with the guys. Listen, each year is different, Jeremy. The team is different. In this case, this year, the coaching staff is different. What are I know you're only there for 2 weeks. That's not a real long time. And this group trying to get to know each other, obviously. But what were some of the things that maybe stuck out in your head from your 2 weeks in spring training?
You know what? Going down there, one of the things that I appreciated, and it's just different styles, right? I just like this style of spring training better because I was used to spring trainings where you had stretch line. I mean, they'd always say, "Hey, athletes on the left field line, kickers down the right field line, and all the pitchers have to run on the right field line." Right. So we do all that, and we played catch together, went through drills. We expected to run from situation to situation, right? Hey, keep up the pace, don't walk around. And last year, for me, just the style was way too laid back. And I just didn't feel like everybody's kind of on their own program, which I didn't think was all that good. This situation here for me was more my rhythm. Hey, there was guys out there, everybody playing catch together. Bullpens were being thrown. Everybody would watch the big dogs, right? Webb or Ray or, all these guys would start warming up, and a lot of the younger pitchers would watch their pen, learn from these guys. And I like that. And so I thought that was a well-run situation. They played, PFPs, they worked on fundamentals. Vitello obviously is big on fundamentals. And he was bringing some of that back. I like the fire these guys had. So I appreciated being in spring training a little bit more this year because I felt like we were connected a little bit more. They were kind of working together as a team, and they're trying to get used to a new manager that came in, obviously from a college background. He's got a little more, fundamental thought process, fire, and it is a little different. It was a little different for him, but I really enjoyed being there. It was really good.
Can it take, when you have a new staff, and it is a completely new staff, not just a manager, but, we're talking 12 coaches, many of them new, and there's some new players as well. But can it take a while for a team to gel, and can you completely gel in your, 4 or 5 weeks in spring training?
Yeah. Oh, it definitely can take, and no, you can't, and one of the things that I kind of laughed, I was like, man, it's going to be a rude awakening. Because when you win that many games in spring training, especially for Vitello, I kind of felt like he got set up a little bit in that. He probably didn't take it too much. I mean, he's got enough guys around him. But when he gets a team and he's working with these guys and he's coaching and he's doing some teaching and he's trying to gather some team camaraderie, he did a really good job. And they're winning in spring training. And the next thing you know, you open up the Yankees and you figure out real quick how spring training is practice.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why Randy Johnson had an 11 ERA in spring training and he come out and throw 8 shutty in opening day, right? So you got to get used to that and understand that. But I think what he did, and I saw it, and I talked to a lot of the guys, contrary to some of the media saying they lose the clubhouse, blah, blah, blah. These guys actually really liked him from what I could tell. And when I talked to some of the guys, they want to win. And they want to do well, and they want to, and they kind of like this fire. He had these guys laughing. He was doing videos of like plays.
Sure.
The last time that I don't remember a big league situation where I ever sat the next morning and went over video of a play or two in the game, talking about how we need to get better at this, get better at that. There was a little more teaching than I'm used to, but the guys, they would chime in. I'd see Chapman chime in. I'd see Adamas chime in. I'd see Ray stand up and be like, hey, man, on this play here. So obviously they're buying into it if they're talking about it, right? So I think that's a big deal. And when you start out the way you did, man, with Yankee, I mean, they didn't have a great schedule early when it was like, hey, let's break Vitello in here, So I've seen worse. I've seen teams start out worse with veteran managers. I think it's going to be a good ball club. I think he's going to do well. Hopefully, we'll see, but I think he'll do well.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about their start a little bit. 9-13, so 22 games in. They've been a little inconsistent offensively. At what point in a season do you start to get an idea what kind of team you may have? I know you can never predict, how many wins you're going to get, but I do think you can get a little bit of an idea what your group is going to be all about. How long can that take? And again, compared to where we're 22 games in.
Yeah, it can honestly, man, Kipe, if you remember the Marlins, they're the worst team in baseball for the first half in '02, right? And they came back and they just all of a sudden won it all. Like, and the Giants were the best in the first half in 2016 and then went the other way. So I think it's really kind of tough. But what I think what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a little more fire than they had at the beginning of the year. I think they're starting to figure out their own. I
Mhm.
think they're missing a few pieces that could help with that.
Yeah.
One, I mean, you gotta. I do think they need a bona fide closer. I do. I don't like I don't like closing by committee. I never have. I've always been pretty loud about that. I do
Mhm.
not think that that's a positive thing for a team. I think when you got a team that says, "Hey, man, we're gonna get the ball to this guy. Do whatever you got to do to get it to this guy, and we've got this thing locked up." Not do whatever you got to do to get to, I don't know, one of these 3 or 4 guys down there. That doesn't make sense for me when it
Mhm.
comes to winning at a big league level. So I think they need that, but I
Yeah.
think you see the bullpen showing some fire. Personally, I freaking loved it at the end of the game the other day in Cincinnati. I loved it. I loved it because I was never a guy that would stir it up or point fingers or anything like that. But the fact of the matter is if I scream and I get excited, you don't get to. It doesn't matter what was said. People say stuff in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
You should know that. Get over it.
Oh
When you
yeah.
hit a homer off me and you bat flip it and start freaking yelling and screaming and pointing
Sure.
up there and doing all your crosses and doing your fist bumps, you do the same thing. You did
Yeah.
the same thing to me, and I got walked off. I don't go fight you over it. But you know what? If someone's going to challenge me, I'm gonna come back. That shows me fire. I loved it. I'm like, finally, man, somebody, I mean, follow that Miller guy. Like, give me some of that,
Mhm.
give me some of that. And so I think that that's what they're going to need. They need personality that way. They need some fire. They need to give me something that says you're pissed off and you're not willing to keep taking it and losing over and over and over again. We're not good at being third and fourth in the West. We're not. You got to show me that or go find guys that will. And I think Buster understands that.
So I think something like the Miller situation you're talking about in Cincinnati, and I agree with you. I thought it was great. I mean, listen, and listen, the Reds forgot all about it, right? I mean, like you said, these things happen a lot. There's a lot of stuff yelled from the dugout, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I also think what Miller did, it has to be completely organic, right? It can't
Yeah.
be contrived. It can't be at all fake. And I always thought like guys who wanted to be leaders, and I'm not saying Miller became a leader. That's not what I'm saying, but it's the guys who kind of were rah-rah, but yet you weren't really sure if it was legit
Right.
rah-rah,
Right.
right? Well, that just doesn't work. You big leaguers, I've said this so many times, are so keen on if a guy's faking it, or if a guy,
That's right.
you guys just get everything, right?
Right.
So it has to be real, right? And I thought that was real. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, it has to be, and it was fired up. I mean, the guy, big moments. I've seen him do it before in big moments. He wants it, right?
sure.
I don't mind that. I remember I was facing Colorado. I think it was '09, and I had all those guys I played with, right? So it was kind of facing the whole line. And I remember I had to strike out the side to help seal up, and I struck out Atkins, and I remember throwing the biggest fist pump and screaming. It was like the 8th inning; it wasn't even the end of the game. And I mean, I got so excited, and they all kind of, and I freaking looked at them. They all kind of looked at me, and I remember Helton looking at me and being like, "What are you, what are you doing?" Like laughed at me almost. He's like, and I
Yeah,
was like, I text a couple of guys on the team. I'm like, my bad. Hey,
sure,
big
sure.
moment. That wasn't to show y'all up. It was just a big moment. Like, because that wasn't necessarily me. I like kind of because I knew that I might have to go out again. Right.
Yeah,
So I kind of didn't love doing that. But sometimes you get caught up in that
sure.
moment. I had a few of those where it's just a big deal, and I liked it. And especially I like that kind of excitement. I like that kind of energy at the end of a game. Just something, man. Like, I mean, give me something. But in the end, I mean, I prefer a bona fide closer doing like Wilson doing his, one more round up there. Like, great.
Sure,
I
sure.
wanted to see that at the end of every game. That's what I wanted to see. And so there is some of that. It doesn't have to always be the screaming and the yelling, but give me a consistent, Romo, when he was rolling, he made guys mad, but the whole freaking bang
Sure.
You got used to it. Casilla, I don't even know what Casilla did. I think Casilla just jumped at the end of the game and pounded his glove and
It's all right.
That's
All right.
all he did. He didn't really do a whole lot, but it was still something consistent with everybody.
Yeah.
You see that. And that's what I'm feeling like they need that personality yet.
Yeah. Let's talk more about the bullpen and go back to spring training when you were working with the pitchers and you were down there for a little while as a guest instructor there was a bunch of guest instructors there, which I thought was very cool. But what did you see as the emphasis that, when you got there, obviously you met with people and they let's get after this a little bit. And where are you and where do you think the Giants are as far as old school versus analytics when it comes to their pitching staff? What kind of feel did you get for that in your time in spring training?
Yeah, I thought there was a little better mix. There was a couple times that me and Rags are sitting next to each other and they were going over all these little initials and his this and this wasn't very good and his plus this. And Rags looked over at me and he's like, "Did you understand that?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Neither do I." like I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm still getting past whip, right?
Yeah, dude, I know. I know. I remember when that was brought in, I was like, "That's a thing,"
Yeah.
But now we got all these different other things. But you know what I liked, and they have a few guys on staff, and one guy literally will watch video with some of the techie guys, and he'll want the ball shape to be a certain way, right? And he sits there and he's a fired up guy, like he's like punching it like his hand. He's getting into guys. He's out there working with them. He's like, "That's the shape I want. That right there. What'd you feel?" He's getting these guys. What I appreciate is now we've brought in guys not just on the analytics.
Yeah.
Here's the shape that I need, right? Here's the shape that I need. But what did you feel to get that shape? That's what I was missing last year. Is guys were like, all they do is look at a screen. There's the spin rate. There's what I need. No. But when you're out on the mound in a big league ball game, you don't get that reading, and you got to feel your way through. What did you feel to feel that release point? What did it feel? And so I feel like they had a little bit more of that. And Buster has bringing in guys, the coaching staff that are, yes, analytics, but they are like, no, we have to get a certain shape and a feel, because if they don't get their hand here and they show it, like, oh, you got to get it over here, not down here.
Yeah.
Then your ball is going to do what it needs to do. So now you're talking to these guys about what to feel, not just numbers. And that, to me, I feel like is what you need. For me, I was just like, be athletic. If you start aiming, you're going to push it. If you start thinking like, ooh, doubt, man, conviction. When you throw that ball with 100% conviction and you figure out you'll get athletic and you'll get into that slot and you'll finish that field, then you'll compete. And that's how we did it. I just prefer, I don't have a problem with your analytics as much now as I did in the past, as long as you're asking guys to feel their way. What does it feel like to throw that? And I thought they were pretty good with that. And then you got a bullpen coach now that was in the big leagues for 17 years or whatever it is. And he just came out and he was awesome. He was awesome with every team he had. He's even talking to these guys about, hey man, that mound in this place, the mound's flatter in the bullpen than in the race. So he's talking to these guys about like, your pitch is going to be better in this situation, in this mound here versus. So he is a true bullpen guy of like, hey man, I want you to watch this pitcher. I want you to watch yourself doing this. Understand that in this ballpark, based on your warm on the mound, you got to fix it when you go out there. Cause we all knew that, we all knew. Atlanta, oh my gosh, the mound was so much flatter in the bullpen than when you got out to the mound. You were like, it's night and day, right? In the visiting side, so you knew that San Diego was the same thing. Could be done on purpose.
Could be done on purpose.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that? Like, hey man, I'm not going to give you the same feel out there because I'm hoping it takes you 3 or 4 pitches to figure it out. And by then, hopefully we get you for a homer. Like, it's fine. Like, whatever you got to do, we just knew it. And they got a bullpen guy down there now that can talk to these guys. And he knows what being weird in a good way is like. He knows what a personality in a bullpen is like. And that's what I think is really good. So I think they're going to do really, really well.
Yeah, talking about Jesse Chavez, who, I mean, kind of a sneaky under the radar hire, I think, for the Giants.
Yeah.
Because I mean, think about what you just said. He's telling guys about the difference between the bullpen mound and the stadium mound in a visiting ballpark.
Right.
The only reason he knows that is because he pitched 17 years in the big leagues, in both leagues, and for a whole bunch of different teams. He would know. I mean,
that's right.
Stuff like that you're not going to get from the other guys, because
you're not because they didn't have that. And that's where I feel like sometimes we're missing it. And I feel like, and I know we're like, well, you just hired a manager that was never in the big. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, do you have a guy, a hitting coach that understands like, hey, I've been in this situation. I've been with these guys. Has he been in the big leagues a long time? Because not every hitting coach is a big league. Like, in fact, a lot of hitting coaches rarely had a ton of big league. There are some, but not a lot. But they have been with like guys, veteran seasoned guys that say, this is what the box feels like when I'm here. This is what it feels like when I'm out there. This is what I'm seeing. But when you come with a pitching guy, a bullpen, especially a bullpen, I got to have a lot of trust, man. These are my freaking 7 guys, man. And we are down in a cage for 162 games, at least a year. And I got to sit with these guys and be like, I got to get them ready to run into the game. They're not in the dugout. Very few of those stadiums are left. Even the Giants are different now. They're not down in there. They don't feel what's going on. They don't hear the catchers talking. I've got to get these guys ready. They got to trust my voice. And if they can trust my voice, not just from the aspect of like what my notebook says, they're trusting my voice from, hey man, by the way, I did it. And I know the craziness. I know the chaos. I know the intensity. I know it's a 2-1 ball game. I know you're getting thrown into the fire every night. Chaos is going on. I get it. And I'm going to get you ready for it. That's a big role for me on a big league team is a big league bullpen coach.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you make great points. Hey, so far this year, again, we're 22 games in, and we knew this going in, Jeremy, that the bullpen was going to be the roles, and who was going to pitch. This was going to be up in the air for a while. It's still up in the air. I get it. I don't think anybody's surprised by it because we kind of knew. How long can you go as a reliever, as a group, before you really start to kind of need to put roles with guys? I mean, can you do this for a while? And I'm not even talking about, like you said, having a closer. I'm talking about 6, 7, 8 guys knowing when they're going to come in, or having a really good idea when they're going to come in, because that's not the case right now.
Right. I think with young bullpens, it takes a little bit. Yeah, it does. It takes a little bit because pitching in the 5th inning down 5 runs or up 5 runs is a completely different deal as pitching in the 8th inning in a 2-1 ball game. And it's not necessarily your stuff that changes. It's the hitter's approach that changes. A hitter's approach when they're down 5-0, in the 5th or 6th inning, I'm going to throw it, man. Go ahead. You guys got to score some runs. I'm going to challenge you. You have to swing the bat. I'm going to throw strikes. You got to swing. A hitter, 2-1 ball game in the 8th inning, I'm going to make you work for it, because if you walk me, if I'm going to make you play defense. I'm going to make there's all kinds of intensity. So for me, guys just naturally, you'll see it. And I don't know what it is all the time. I've seen great 7th inning guys, 8th inning guys. Oh man, you got closer stuff. 9th inning, can't do it. Can't do it. They give up big time hits, big time homers. They walk guys. They try to overthrow, and then you've got guys that are like closers in like the 9th inning that just, on the line, and you try to throw them in the 7th inning and they're out there like, oh, sure. Like they don't know what to do, So for me, you have to figure out personalities. There are certain personalities that do a lot better under intense pressure and others that don't. I honestly did better with pressure. I did. Like for whatever reason, I couldn't start. I just didn't have, I'd be like, man, I don't know. I just didn't have enough. Like there wasn't enough stuff for me in the 1st or 2nd inning. It's 0-0, but it's 0-0 with it, with the sense of like, but there's 9 innings to go. Like, but when you have 1 inning to go, my stuff just got better. It just was what it was, right? So you have to find those guys. I think once you get a veteran bullpen, you don't find them. I mean, that's what Bochy had for 7 years. You go to spring training. I really don't care what your numbers are, guys. You got the 7th, you got the 8th, you got the 9th. Just get ready and get your fastball ready, and let's just do this, So Buster and Vitello, they don't have that luxury right now. I think they have to find guys with personality. And personally, there's been guys with them for 3-4 years. They still don't have it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Go get a couple guys to plug in so these other guys can be who they need to be. But right now, I don't think they have all the right butts in the right seats in the bullpen yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So you're telling me if Boch brought you into the game and this is like the dreaded sentence for any reliever, but let's get Affeldt some work in. It was going to be a disaster.
Hate it. Absolutely hate it. I freaking gave up so many runs during that time. I was so pissed off. I remember Bochy, he called down and he'd be like, let me talk to Affeldt. Guardy'd be like, hey, Boch wants to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, you want some work? Do you want me to work? I don't know. Do you want any work? I don't volunteer. The second I volunteer to go into a game is the second I give up 6 freaking runs. Do you want me to work? Because then I get put in my brain is like, okay, you want me in the game.
Yeah.
And he would be like, why are you always making it so hard? And he'd hang up the phone and then he wouldn't pitch me in the game. He would, but then in Colorado, we come in and I come into Colorado, you got to pitch at like a freaking 1-run ball game when you're up by 8 in the 7th inning, right? So sometimes you have to do that. But I remember we were up by so much, and I come out there and I give up a hit. I think I don't give up an out. I give up like 2 hits in a row. Boom, downpour, rain. And I'm like, all right. So we go in and we sit. Well, it's a close. They want to play it, so we're sitting there for a rain delay. It's the last inning of the game. So I'm sitting there, and Boch is like, you're done. No. Not done. I'll save these guys. I'll go back out there. Gave up 6 runs. Not a freaking out. And he came out to get me on the mound. He's like, nah, probably should have pulled you. I'm like, yeah, thanks. Like, thanks. I mean, I was like, that was a 6 spot for no reason. Yeah. So I'm telling you, I did not volunteer to get work. I didn't volunteer to pitch.
It's a disaster. It never works. It never works. It doesn't. I've seen it so many times. And a closer hasn't pitched in 4 or 5 days. Let's get him out there. Let's get him an inning. And
3 earnings.
I just never felt like, does a closer really want to do that? Probably.
No, 3 earnings right there. You go out giving up 3 because you're not focused. You don't have the same intensity. You're just up there throwing it up there.
Automatic. It's automatic.
It's very hard to do.
And then when you're thinking, okay, now I've given up 2 runs. Well, now you're pissed off.
Yeah.
And then it just gets worse, right? I mean,
yep. And then it takes you a month of like 12 scoreless just to get it back down again.
Of course.
Yeah, it sucks.
Hey, listen, the job of a manager, there's many different areas that are tough, right? I always thought that the bullpen management was one of the toughest. Where would you rank that as far as situations that a manager has to deal with, whether it be game situations or who knows, clubhouse situations, right? There's a lot of things they got to take care of. But where does that bullpen management fit in for you?
Top 3.
Yeah.
Top 3, because bullpen now it's even worse because you got to face a minimum of 3 hitters or whatever, right? So like it's like, man, I got to figure this out. Like, but playing the game of chess, which they have tried to eliminate that when you could mix and match pitchers and stuff. Yeah. It was a lot more of a chess game. I don't know why they took that. They could say speeding up the game. I call BS on that. Like that's not gonna, like, there's not enough of that going on, but it is truly a game of chess. But I still think now it's matchups, who's ready, who's mentally ready, who's not feeling well, but can still get the job done in this situation. And where am I at? Who's coming up? Who's still got their guys on the bench? Who could they potentially face? I mean, Bochy knew that guy. It was crazy how that guy thought. But I mean, he had the years, but I mean, he just thought ahead. Yeah. He was out thinking managers. Crazy. He was one of the best guys, in my opinion. he had the guys for one. So I'll give him that. He had the 4 or 5 guys that he could go to for 7-8 years, right? He's like, that's why they locked us all up, because it just gave Bochy like, hey, just give me these guys with those 5 guys that I can run out every 5 days, and I'll figure out how to win a ball game with limited offense and great defense. I mean, he knew it, but he still had to put us in the right situation and make sure that he never let us wear it. He let us wear it a couple times, but most of the time he never let you wear it. He was like, you don't have to, they'll get you out of there. That was important to me. I mean, knowing who to pinch hit in what roles, in what situation, and knowing who, when, and who to give days off to at what times. But I think the bullpen, I've seen some great managers not run a good bullpen, and it costs them. It costs them World Series. It costs them playoffs because they don't know how to run it. And so for me, if you can run a bullpen, you can win a game. And there's a lot of guys that can't do it, I think.
And I think, too, one thing that maybe fans don't always realize, and even, sometimes announcers don't know it because you just didn't get that information maybe before the game. Most of the time you do, because it's you keep the secret. But I don't think fans always know who's available that day.
That's right.
There's a lot of games where there's a red dot next to Jeremy Affeldt's name, which means he's not going today. Well, okay. The manager's not going to let anybody know that outside of the dugout because for obvious strategical reason. Sometimes, they may tell, their home announcers and say, hey, you know what? Because we're not going to go say anything. But that's a thing too, right?
Yeah.
You only have 5.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to have the right butts in the right seats down there. Like, you got to have the right guys down there, because if you have to give a day off to a guy, if he gave a day off to Javi, Jeremy, you're going to pick it up a little bit. You're going to have it. He knew that. But then he would be like, okay, Jeremy needs a day off. It's okay. I got Jav. And then Romo, man, he's hurting. He needs a day off. Well, then Javi and I would switch because I could face righties sometimes just like I could face lefties. So he'd be like, okay, Javi, you're going to come a little earlier because Affeldt's got to pick up because Romo's got the day off. Casilla might have to come in a little earlier. But then we started getting guys like, Contos could pick some righties up earlier in the game in that 7th, 8th inning. Like he could do it. We had guys that we could do that with. But for me, if you ran the right skit on the bullpen with the right starting 5, you actually got your built-in days off because, you got to figure, any given day, Lincecum was going to go 8. Right. And then Vogie was going to give you 7 if you needed to. Kane was going to Bum could be a CG every time out. Like, it was just, so it was like, we didn't have some of that, but if we needed a day off, it was important that he gave us the day off at the right time. And that's why you pick and choose. Hey, if we're up by 4, you're not pitching. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to put somebody else in there, but he did have times where he said, hey, you get a day off today. Cool. And then he called down. He's like, I need you for a hitter. I'm like,
sure.
Great. So you go do it, because you did your job. But he also could give you days off where he's like, you're just not. And sometimes the trainers have to do it to managers. Managers trying to win a ball game, they'll forget. And Greshner was really good at it. He'd walk up to him in the dugout and he says, he will not pitch today.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to tell him not to go down to the bullpen so you can't even call on him. He's not pitching today. So he had to get like that a few times. Not a lot, but he had to a few times. But I felt like we could cover it. But it is important. It is important to run a bullpen so you don't wear those guys out and pitch them too much so they're not. And that's why I don't think bullpen by committee works, because you just burnt a guy for 3 innings today. My goodness. Okay, but what do you believe? The next day, his role comes up in the 8th inning. I could really use him right now, but I burnt him for 3 innings yesterday when I didn't need to. That's why the committee thing doesn't work. It does not work because guys it's hard mentally, it's hard physically on guys.
Yeah. What would you, young relievers, and the Giants have some guys that to me are interesting. I think the Killian kid's interesting.
Yeah. He's good.
Pitched well. Keaton Wynn, we know about him. He's looked good. Tidwell, they're young, hard throwers, but the thing that kind of stands out with these 3 kids, and, we don't know what's going to happen with them, but they've been pretty good in the early going. And you saw them firsthand in spring training, is they have an out pitch. Okay. Killian's got a good fastball, but he's got a really good breaking ball. Wynn's got the splitter. Tidwell's got that sweeper. And to me, when I watch them pitch, and I know it's not a simple game, but it seems simple for them. If they can throw quality strikes with their fastball early in the count, or get ahead at some point, 0-1, go to 1-1, then get ahead 1-2, then they have that go-to out pitch that they can strike people out with. I know it's easier said than done, but if they can just tighten up their fastball location where they can make a good pitch early in the count,
right,
and get to those other pitches that are their out pitches, these guys have a chance to be pretty good, but it's not that easy.
Yeah. And it's learned, but when you just challenge guys, you figure out, man, with this ABS system, I mean, it's hurting some guys, but other guys, it's like, no, what it is the hitter actually is like, he's actually, I think the hitter tends to have to take a little extra time because he wants to make sure it's a strike. And so he's got to be able to be like, no. But if you can go ahead and what I learned in the bullpen, where I wish I would have learned it as a starter, but I didn't. I learned just come out the chute and just boom, boom, like strike, or I'm going to give you a strike and then just barely miss, but I'm going to come at you to where it's like, I'm going to make you swing the bat. My biggest thing, I know it's cliche, but it really did work once I bought in 3 pitches or less. I want you to commit to swinging the bat in 3 pitches or less. I'm going to throw it up there. It's a sinker. It's a sinker, man. Like, I'm not going to trick you. Go ahead. I just think my sinker is going to beat you. And then I'm going to come with a breaking ball. And if you start messing around too much, I'm going to throw a split. And then we'll see what happens. But if I can get you to commit 3 pitches or less, all that did for me was force me. If I want the hitter to do that, then I have to give him a hittable pitch. I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you one. I just need you to hit in the ground. Like, so to me, that kept everybody aggressive, kept me aggressive, kept them aggressive. And then you have wipeout pitches, and the good relievers will figure out a way to get you to a point where it's like, you're going to have to swing because I'm going to throw strikes, and then you don't want to face that.
That's right.
If I can get you to do that, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems simple. It's not, but listen, if you want to be a good reliever,
you better not. You got to be in the zone.
You better throw some strikes
early and often.
Hey,
That's what.
Let's switch gears to the ABS challenge system. You mentioned it a little bit. Do you like it?
I am not there yet.
Okay.
I just got that question from a few customers, like over the last couple of weeks. And I said, I don't know. What I don't like is, so where it's going to upset the umpires, which I would be upset too if I was an umpire, is when you challenge and I miss that by like 1/8 of an inch. Really? Yeah. I'm going to get told that I mess it up on 1/8 of an inch. You don't know it. And the catcher might know it, but probably not. Like, y'all don't really know. You're guessing. And 1/8 of an inch? No. You got to swing the bat, man. Like, swing. Don't take that saying you knew it was a ball, and because you didn't. Now, 1 inch or 2, yeah, I'll give that to hitters. I think they're that good. I think for the ABS to work is you've got to give a 1/2 inch buffer on the strike zone, which means however they do the algorithm or however they do the laser, give me the strike zone, but know that that it's still going to register as a strike this much, because honestly, that's not that. I guarantee
I get what you're saying. Yeah, but there's some that are 1/10 of an inch.
It's ridiculous. And a guy like Webb will get screwed on that, right? Like, come on, man, my ball's moving.
Yeah.
And right at that little plate, it moved 1/8 of an inch. Come on, man. Like, so he's getting screwed on that. That's why I think he's having a tougher time, is because that ABS is messing with a guy with movement quite a bit, right? So he's having a hard time because you can't steal those strikes that are right there. But if you can give a buffer where, to me, because what's going to happen, and you're already seeing it, umpires are already rolling their eyes. They're like, here we go. I mean, one umpire that ripped his mask off when a pitcher was arguing and says, you have a challenge, use it. Quit yelling at me. So now we're going to use that, Now we're going to say that now that's the argument. And the other one, I'm going to tell you right now, and it's going to happen a lot to hitters when the umpires get frustrated. You want to freaking tell me I missed it by 1/8 of an inch. The second you do this with a bat, boom, that's a strike, because you can't challenge the check swing, and I'm going to get you on that then. So I'm going to get somebody, and as an umpire, hey man, like I'm not going to sit there and have you challenge me on 1/8 of an inch, and then you say you didn't swing when actually, and I tell this to the customers all the time, and umpires really never have answered me very well on it. The book on a check swing for a strike is if a hitter has an intent to swing the bat. Every time you go like this, your intent was to swing the bat, and then you decided not to. So every one of them's a strike.
Yeah,
like,
and it's a guess. It's a guess. I mean, it really is.
Complete guess. It's a complete guess. Yeah. And so for me, you're gonna see umpires start to push back in their own way, and I just feel like if you could give them a little bit where if it's within that 1/2 an inch, it's going to go. If you want to ball it up, I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but I think that the strike zone, if you're going to do that, where you're going to nitpick on a line, 1/8 of an inch, I don't even think it should register. I think it has to register when it's like, if you want to make it 3/4 of an inch, whatever, then register it. But other than that, swing the bat, man. That's the name of the game.
So if you were in charge, let's say you're in charge of the Giants, Jeremy Affeldt, what would your strategy be for the whole team to go about this ABS challenge system? As far as hitters, yes, you can do it. No, you can't do it. Pitchers, you can't do it. Yes, you can. Catchers, you're in charge. What do you think is the best route to take? Because I think we're still finding out, what is the best strategy for this whole thing. I'm not sure we know just yet.
I think pitchers absolutely never get to challenge because I thought everything was a strike. I mean, the way these catchers are like, if I'm doing this and the catcher's like, no, don't challenge that. Like the catcher should always get it. They literally have the best angle. I mean, they got the best shot, right? And they know
absolutely no question.
Pitcher, man. Robbie Ray is a freaking stud, man, but he doesn't even see the plate when he throws. I mean, he's just, and then he chucks up. He sees it at the very end. That's when he sees it. Frankly, I never moved my head a whole lot. And sometimes I didn't see it till the very end. My ball moves. So I'd see it at the end. So to me, you don't let the pitchers do it because they get too emotionally involved in it, right? The catchers know it. They got full, for me, you got full reign. Hitters, I know some hitters, man, unless it's you better be on point. Or you shouldn't even be doing it. Don't waste it until the end of the game. Don't waste it until the end of the game because you don't want to do it in the first couple innings when frankly you guys aren't really adjusted to the strike zone yet. Some guys have a hard time seeing earlier in the game, right? The light, the daylight, all that stuff. Don't challenge too early. Do not do it and then burn us for the end of the game because as an umpire, I would open it up. Once you're out, I'm going to open it up.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't want to burn it. But there's going to be designated guys too. Like if I'm Adam Dunn, if I'm a manager, Adam Dunn, I would let him do it.
Okay.
The guy knew the strike zone. I've never seen it. That guy knew what a strike. I mean, he literally, Pat Burrell knew a strike zone. He could tell you if it was on or off. Like there are some guys that doesn't matter. Doesn't mean they're going to hit 300. Adam Dunn hit 220 in his career, but he hit a bunch of homers and he walked 100 plus times a year because he knew the strike zone. So for me, I'll know those guys, but I'm also not letting guys with like 100 strikeout, if they strike out, whatever, a lot of strikeout. If your strikeout ratio is too high, you're not. I'm not going to let you go ahead and challenge early in the game because I don't think you know the strike zone well enough.
And I mean, those hitters. I mean, I've seen it. Hitters are hitters maybe more emotional than pitchers.
Yeah.
Because you can see it right away. I know Willie Adames, it's happened to him a handful of times this year where you can just tell, and I get it. I mean, you're like, that's not strike. There's no way. There's no way. And you don't have any time to think about it, right?
No. So you see guys should challenge. I've seen guys on balls in. I'm like, that ball's 6 inches in. You call it a strike? Challenge. You don't have enough time. You got to make that.
No, I know. And they're not sure. They're not sure.
Got to be done. Yeah. What is the rule on that? How much time? Do you know?
Gosh, it's got to be done right away. I mean, it's probably within 1,001. It's probably within 2 seconds.
Got you. Yeah.
But I think too, Jeremy, what's happening, and I've noticed this, is when a team is down to one challenge, wherever they are in the game, that makes their players even more hesitant to challenge.
That's right.
Because you want to be the guy that runs your team out of challenges with 3-4 innings left to go.
That's
So
right.
I think the first challenge is like, yeah, okay, hey, all right, but now we're down to one. It's like, oh man, if we're screwed if we get this one wrong. And I don't think guys want to be the guy that
does it. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't want to be the guy. I would not want to be the guy to do that either. I agree. I think that it's, but then you get guys like the immaculate inning the other day that the catcher just challenged it.
Yeah.
And like, it was clearly off. He's like, yeah, but I was trying to get immaculate inning. So you're going to burn one of your situations because, see, this is where I think the umpires are like, you see, this is what we're talking. That ball was clearly off the plate. What would be the point of that? It's not going to come back. It's not going to be a strike. Like, those are the kind of things that I think are going to frustrate umpires. And there's going to be a strategy, whether you get catchers to like pull that thing in late so that the hitter like, challenge, you know what I'm saying, to get them to burn it. They'll find ways to challenge it and try to deep guys into to asking for it and all those other things. But I'm not 100% set that it's helping the game that much, or if it's really helping the game. I mean, you see obvious calls. It's causing umpires to maybe tighten up a little bit. CB Buckner is going to have a gazillion calls challenged all year. Everybody knows it. He'll have, guys, he's terrible. So he's gonna freaking have all kinds of calls. I mean, he's always been bad. He knows it. So like, but you're gonna have those guys, and maybe it'll help these umpires tighten up their strike zone a little bit.
I could see that happening a little. I could see it at in some instances making umpires better. And they're very good at what they do.
Yeah.
For the most part. They are. It's a hard job, but I could see them, maybe this helps them get even better. I mean,
learn the strike zone. What is it's a no-brainer strike. I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, Tom Glavine, no offense. I love the guy. I love watching him pitch. He doesn't make the Hall of Fame if you have the ABS.
You're probably right.
He could not. There's no way he would make a living throwing over the plate what he threw. He had to throw off the plate. He could just hit the glove. But there's a lot of Hall of Famers that would have struggle that are competing at the ABS level right now. They just will,
Interesting stuff. Hey, let's as last but certainly not least, let's end on a great note. Let's talk about the book. We had you on, I don't remember when that was. It was maybe back in February. Yeah. We talked a lot about the book you wrote. It's out. It's called Built for the Storm. It's awesome stuff. I read it, and you should be really proud of it. But it's also out there, and people need to know it's out there, and they need to get it because it's good stuff. Tell us a little bit about the book, Built for the Storm.
Yeah, it was a book I wrote for my children. In a way, it's a legacy, right? It's if they needed to hear, if I get hit from a, God forbid, I get hit by a bus tonight driving home, but say I do, and they need their dad's voice, I want that book out there, right? That's how you handle storms. This is how you handle challenges. This is how I feel about it. And I truly think winners think like this. And I'm not saying that I know I'm the guru. I just think that I saw a lot of different winning scenarios, and it was never because it was easy. It was always because there were guys that could take on storms and run at them and understand that challenges are a good thing in life, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not something to run from. And when life hits you, it could be relationally, it could be, job-wise, it could be marriage, it could be whatever. It could be sickness. It could be all the different storms that come at us. There is a way to approach it, not always easy, but taking them on head on and not running from it, and understanding that it's a part of the journey, and storms were made to build us up. They were not made to knock us down. They were made to make us stronger. And if we can look at it that way, it's a little different. And so I just tell my story. I tell my story on storms, the different storms I went through. I've got, I've got relational stuff in there. I've got, Game 7 World Series. I got baseball stories. I've got all kinds of stuff because I truly believe that I look at life this way, and what I write about, you're built for the storm and you're built for it. And that's what I want people to hear and know and get out of it. And I'm excited for it. It has been selling pretty good, to be honest with you. I've enjoyed the sales. People have come in talking about it. And I think the message is an appropriate one for this day and age. That's
great. So to purchase the book, you can see on the screen, go to jeremyaffeldt.com. That's where you can buy the book. It's also on audiobooks, correct?
Yes, sir. And I read it because I thought it was important that and the author reads this one. I didn't want someone else reading my story, so I read the story.
Yeah. So if you do order the book, again, jeremyaffeldt.com, you can order it. Jeremy personally signs every book, which is very cool. So this is good stuff. If you got time, if you're a book reader, yeah, it is. And you know what I think it's great about Jeremy is I think, this idea that professional athletes make a lot of money and, they drive a nice car and they probably got a nice house and everything is just perfect. And that's really not the case. I mean, you guys, in life, you run into problems and situations and downfalls and pitfalls. And, you guys run into the same stuff that people that aren't professional players run into.
Right.
And I think that's sort of the feeling and the thought that you were trying to put out there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, I mean, look, God rest his soul. One of my favorite freaking guys I ever faced, Garrett Anderson.
Yeah, can you believe that?
I mean,
it's unbelievable.
God, like just feeling sick a couple of days before, and then just going in his family, like those are storms, right? Those are tough things. It does, just because we're athletes, we're not released of all those things, and so for me, just seeing that, but you see it all the time, and storms they're inevitable. They're gonna happen. No one is going to get out of them. It's not the case. Yeah. I just thought maybe I read about a perspective on how you handle them when you do run into them.
All right. So the book is Built for the Storm. Again, go to jeremyaffeldt.com to purchase the book. He'll personally sign it for you. You can also get it on audio books. So it's good stuff. Jeremy, you're good stuff. Thanks again for joining me. I love having you on, and let's do this again, maybe mid-season, and see how the Giants are doing. All right.
Be great. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Enjoy your evening.
All right. Jeremy Affeldt has been our guest. One of the good guys. We love him. 14 years as a big leaguer, 7 with the Giants. He's got 3 World Series rings, and he's just an all-around good guy, and he's a lot of fun. We were together at Giants fantasy camp in January with a bunch of former Giants, and he's a lot of fun. So we appreciate Jeremy Affeldt as our guest tonight. I'm going to take a quick look at some of the comments, and then we'll get the heck out of here for the evening. Let's see. Interesting stuff here from Mike in San Francisco. Landon Roop is like Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. Exactly. He has to zero in on the corners now. Yeah, he does. And we're going to see Landon Roop tomorrow. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. Landon Roop against Yamamoto tomorrow. As the Dodgers come to town, so I would imagine everybody's ready for that. Weather's supposed to be kind of funky tomorrow. We'll see if the game gets played. Let's hope so. It's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. But I'm going to head out to the ballpark. I hope you're there. Giants and Dodgers 3-game series all coming up starting tomorrow night. Once again, our sponsors, the Carrick Real Estate Team, Tilden Properties, Original Joe's, Area Rug Cleaning Direct, and Partners Capital LLC. Thank you to those gentlemen and women as our sponsors. So that's it for tonight's show. Hope you enjoyed it. We thank our special guest, Jeremy Affeldt. We appreciate it. Make sure you check out the Glen Kuiper Show on YouTube. We got all of our shows. All of our live shows are on there. And we're going to start a little bit later on this week, start putting out the Friday Night Kipes shows. We had our first Friday Night Kipes show. Remember last year we did it from the Gotham Club. We're doing it again this year. My brother Dwayne and I do a post-game show after every Friday night home game. We have guests on, and what we do is we take that show, we take the audio, we take some video, we take some still pictures that were taken, and we put it together and we put it out on my YouTube channel. And we're going to have our first show coming out probably in a couple days. We'll get it out on the channel with Mike Kruko as our guest. So give you something else to watch along with all the videos, all the shorts, and all the live shows. So that'll do it for tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you a little bit later on in the week with another edition of the Glen Kuiper Show. Have a good night, everybody.